Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Let's get to the news. Now guys, today we have some intriguing updates that are really shaking up the Eagles roster and potentially their entire season. As we all know, the Philadelphia Eagles are coming off a pretty exciting stretch, filled with ups and downs, but always with that hunger for another Super Bowl appearance. And honestly, the latest moves by GM Howie Roseman and the front office are showing us that they're not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. They're actively shaping the roster with a clear eye on maximizing their chances. So, let's talk about what's been happening lately. The Eagles returned to practice on Wednesday, gearing up for their upcoming game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But in the midst of all the preparation, something really caught everyone's attention: the return of veteran wide receiver Quez Watkins to the team. Yes, you heard that right. Watkins, who was once considered a promising deep threat, has been brought back after being signed to the practice squad along with two other players. Now, this move immediately sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Many fans were surprised, to say the least, because Watkins' tenure with the Eagles has been quite a roller coaster, and there's a lot of mixed feelings about his return. Let's dive into exactly who Quez Watkins is and what this move could mean. Watkins, a sixth-round pick back in 2020, had some moments of brilliance early on in his career, but never quite lived up to the explosive potential many saw in him. When he was drafted, there was a lot of hype. Fans and analysts alike saw him as a possible deep threat weapon, a guy who could stretch defenses and open up the field for Jalen Hurts and the entire offense. But as many Eagles fans remember vividly, his journey has been marked by inconsistency and some costly drops. For instance, in Super Bowl 57, during that third-quarter drive, Watkins dropped a pass that could have shifted the momentum, perhaps even changed the outcome of the game. That drop still lingers in the minds of fans, and it's something Watkins himself has probably thought about many times. In the 2023 season, Watkins played 9 games, catching 15 passes on 21 targets for a total of 142 yards and a touchdown. Not eye-popping numbers, but enough to keep him relevant in the offense, especially considering the Eagles' receiver core. Over his 4 years with Philly, he accumulated 98 receptions on 147 targets for 249 yards and 6 touchdowns. Not bad for a sixth-round pick, but certainly not the explosive game-breaker many hoped he would become. His journey after leaving Philadelphia took him across the Keystone State to the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he signed a one-year deal in the offseason. The Steelers, however, have a pretty crowded receiver room, filled with guys like Mike Williams, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, and George Pickens. Watkins was given a shot, but he couldn't quite crack the 53-man roster. He was cut at the end of the preseason but remained on the practice squad. Now here's where things get interesting. Watkins never actually saw game action in Pittsburgh, which was a bit disappointing, especially considering his talent and the opportunity to showcase his skills. The Steelers have a deep receiver group, and that made it tough for him to get on the field. Eventually, in January of this year, Watkins signed with the Arizona Cardinals on a futures deal. The Cardinals aren't exactly loaded at wide receiver, so maybe this was an opportunity for him to prove himself again. But then, things took a turn. He was bitten by the injury bug at the start of August, placed on injured reserve, and then waived 2 weeks later. It was a rough patch, and many fans wondered if we'd seen the last of Watkins in the NFL. But here's the twist. Recently, he got a second shot from the Eagles, returning to the team that first drafted him. Now, this is huge because the Eagles are currently dealing with some injuries at the receiver position, including Darius Cooper going on injured reserve. That opens a spot on the 53-man roster, and the question on everyone's mind is, will Watkins make it back, or will the Eagles turn to someone else like Terrence Marshall Jr. or Britton Covey? There's a lot of hope among fans that Watkins can step up and show that he still has something to offer. And let's be honest, the Eagles' offense has evolved into something pretty dynamic. Jalen Hurts continues to be one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the league, and the offensive line is playing at a high level. The addition of Watkins, if he can stay healthy and find his rhythm, could add that deep threat element that defenses really struggle to contain. But it's not just about talent. It's also about confidence, consistency, and the ability to perform under pressure. Watkins has been through a lot over the past few years: injuries, roster cuts, and moments where he looked like he might never get that second chance. But now, in this moment, with the Eagles looking to make a deep playoff run, it's all about whether he can capitalize on this opportunity. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. The Eagles are in a really interesting position this season. They've got a roster that's pretty stacked in many areas, but depth at wide receiver has been tested. The addition of Watkins to the practice squad, and possibly the active roster, could be a strategic move by Howie Roseman and the coaching staff to add some explosive potential when it's needed most. And of course, fans are excited about the possibility. Imagine Watkins catching a deep pass in a critical moment, reinstating that electrifying element that made him a fan favorite when he first arrived. But it's not just about Watkins. The Eagles have a lot of other talented receivers, and the coaching staff has shown they're willing to work with guys, develop them, and give them chances. Remember, the team's core is still centered around Jalen Hurts, who has been phenomenal this season. His ability to extend plays and find open receivers has been one of the key reasons for the Eagles' success. The offensive line has been solid in protecting him, and the running game continues to be a major threat. All of these pieces fit together, and adding a player like Watkins back into the fold could provide that additional spark that keeps defenses guessing. Now, if Watkins does make the active roster, it will be interesting to see how he fits into the game plan. Will he be used primarily as a deep threat? Or will the coaching staff try to get him involved in some quick screens and intermediate routes to get his confidence back? That's something we'll have to watch in the upcoming games. And let's not forget, Watkins has been on the workout circuit, trying to stay in shape and prove to the Eagles and other teams that he still belongs in the league. His resilience and perseverance are commendable, and they speak volumes about his character. For Eagles fans, this move sparks a lot of hope and curiosity. We all remember those moments of brilliance, like that game-winning catch against the Jets or that long touchdown against the Cowboys. If Watkins can tap into that potential again, it could be a game-changer for the team's playoff aspirations. And honestly, that's what makes this story so compelling. Seeing a player who faced setbacks and injuries get another shot at redemption, and doing so in the city where he first made his mark. Now, looking ahead, the Eagles' upcoming schedule is filled with critical matchups that could define their season. The game against Tampa Bay will be a real test, especially if Watkins gets some playing time. The team's chemistry, the coaching adjustments, and the ability to seize opportunities will all come into focus in these vital moments. And if Watkins can rise to the occasion, it's not just about this season. It's about solidifying his place in the Eagles' legacy and giving fans one more reason to believe in this team's greatness. So, as we watch the next few weeks unfold, keep an eye on Watkins because his story is far from over. If he can stay healthy, find that spark again, and perform when it counts, he might just become a key piece in Philly's quest for another Super Bowl. And for all the passionate Eagles fans listening right now, I know you're hoping the same. The city of Philadelphia loves a good comeback story, and Watkins might just be writing his right now. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Philadelphia Eagles news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this move? Do you believe Watkins can turn things around and become that deep threat weapon again? Or are you skeptical, thinking maybe this is just a short-term fix? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Eagles, because at the end of the day, this team is built on the passion and voice of its fans. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. Whether it's roster moves, game analysis, or player performances, we're here to keep you in the loop. Thanks for riding along today, and as always, go Birds.